we go. I'm
on
shocked
senior
that
night.
didn't come up in the recap of the Duke game.
So,
no, I think it did. But let's be honest. I think it wasn't until the ACC tournament. That was when we kind of realized, okay, there is a 0% chance he's coming back.
I thought after that Duke game and that move, you can't say, hey, we need you to come back. That's just what it was. And look at the 2 bad years of Carolina basketball under Roy Williams. What has plagued them? They have not had competent, consistent point guard play. Now, this year, Cole Anthony missed 11 games. So maybe if he doesn't get hurt, he's not the kind of guy he is. I don't believe so. He talks about the team and how he's a team guy. He doesn't play team basketball on offense. He's not a very good team defender. Go to the NBA. Go make your millions. That way I don't have to watch you on my team.
Well,
and see your dad in the stands with that dumbass ball cap on.
Okay, well, I'm not going to take that harsh of an opinion here, but I don't think he's coming back because he sees Caleb Love coming up. I mean, let's be real honest. He was brought in for 1 year. Now you've got a point guard that is just as talented, maybe fits the system even a little better, that's coming up behind you. I don't think he's going to stay for another year. No matter what we're trying to say, he has struggled. You have to admit that. There's still a lot of good things about his game as well. He is a top 10 pick in the NBA draft.
No question.
I don't think that there is any doubt, especially with the class right now in the NBA draft that is looking absolutely poor, just poor. I mean, there is not a lot of talent at all.
There's a lot of talent at the top.
No, not really. Most of it is foreign talent. Who is the guy that we're saying, okay, is the Zion Williamson, is the can't-miss Anthony Davis type prospect in this class? Is there a guy?
I don't think Wiseman from Memphis is going to be the number 1 pick.
Guy that had to sit out half the year. We still don't really know how he fits because he's a big man.
That doesn't matter because
you're not running it through a big man. Let's be real honest. If he was
Golden State will.
They won't. No, they won't. They're going to run it through their guard play with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
You've got Wiseman.
Okay. You think he's a Zion-level, Anthony Davis-level talent?
That doesn't mean there's not talent at the top of the draft.
There's no dominant player. I don't think that James Wiseman is better than Ja Morant or Zion Williamson.
Okay, so we're going back to last year where the top of the draft was as deep as it ever was. There's still talent there.
Yeah, but if there's that much talent, then Cole Anthony will be lucky to be drafted top 15.
He'll go top 10 because
he's really not anywhere near the talent that these guys are,
and he's a point guard.
Yeah, I don't think that it's really that deep at the top.
In the top 10 that are going to need a point guard, you can't say no to his talent.
I mean, dude, there's guys. I mean, you got the guy that's a star right now at Dayton, considered a top 10
Obi Toppin, he's a forward.
Exactly, and he is. There's no way he's anywhere close to the talent that any of the guys that normally go in the top 10 are worthy of.
Neither was Ja Morant, but he went top 2.
Have you watched Ja Morant play? Ja Morant was a guy that was at Murray State, and we're all kind of left scratching our heads saying, why was this guy at Murray State? Because he is as good of a talent. If you look back at this draft in a few years, you might be able to say that he was a better overall talent than Zion Williamson.
I don't have to look
at the end of
I'd already say it now, but what you just said, because he's at Dayton, you don't think the talent. We thought the same thing last year with.
Okay, but what I'm saying is there's no way that he is that he's normally fits the mold of a top 10 draft pick. There's going to be a lot of foreign guys that will be taken high. Cole Anthony makes sense as a top 10 draft pick because this class at the top is not really as talented as some of the ones in past years.
All right, I'll agree with that. When you watch basketball 5 days a week, there's
watch it 5 days a week. You weren't home last night watching college basketball. If you want to play that game,
there's talent at the top of the draft.
It's nowhere near as good as it's been in the past. Right. Nowhere near as good, not proven enough.
We'll move on to Virginia with that. Do we even want to watch this game?
Preferably, no. I have less enthusiasm to watch this game than the one earlier this year, the meeting with them. And that is pretty bad. I don't think that we will. I think we'll at least reach 50 because Virginia is not that good. They are nowhere near as good as they were a year ago.
That was expected. They lost 4 starters.
Oh, exactly. But at the same time, this is still a game that is going to be very, very ugly. Carolina will probably be lucky to shoot 30% unless somebody just goes absolutely nuts. Maybe Garrison Brooks goes back to what we saw from him in the first half of ACC play. Christian Keeling maybe continues to find his stride and has a big game. I just, right now, the way this team is playing with Cole Anthony back, again, not an efficient shooting team. On the offensive end, there are just monumental struggles. And again, Virginia's not going to be a team that's going to run away from you. I think it's going to be a very, very ugly game and a very low-scoring game that will probably see both teams in the very low 50s.
Well, that's given just the nature of the two teams. The thing that's really going to be what sucks for Carolina, Virginia's making their push. They've won 4 out of 5. They're 16-7, 8-5 in the ACC.
Just won on the road at Syracuse.
No, they didn't.
Did they not?
No.
Who did they beat the other night? Notre Dame.
So squarely on the bubble. The bigger problem is Carolina can't beat them. And
in a normal year,
the last time they beat them was 2017. Well, that team won a national championship. This team has lost at home to Wofford, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Clemson. The chances of them beating a an upper echelon ACC team on their home floor, not very likely. And it's just, I don't know. Like, the numbers for Carolina have gotten better, but it's still not pretty. And Virginia loves to make the game ugly. They're going to do that. And it's just, it's going to be difficult to find a way to win this game. You haven't won since Cole Anthony returned. Your best chance of winning this game is him going off like against Notre Dame. But we've seen since he came back, we've given him the ability to take the game over, and he hasn't been able to dominate like he did against Notre Dame, which is okay because what he did in the opener, we didn't expect that day one. Knew he had that capability, but asking him to do that night in, night out was going to be tough, and that's where we're at. I think one thing that is cool is that Christian Keeling has gradually improved over the last 2 weeks. That's one thing that's been bad about losing all these 4 games is he's rounded into the guy that we thought we were getting when he committed. That mid-range game is there, and it's not an efficient shot in modern basketball, but I'm okay with him shooting that shot.
Yeah, because he's the only guy on the floor that can actually make a shot usually when he's shooting that shot.
He had a stretch against Duke. He scored 6 straight points. He had a stretch the other night where our best offense
He's had one of those pretty much every game this last month.
Yeah.
That's been him.
Our best offense at times is him. And
he's our best perimeter shooter right now. With Brandon Robinson off the floor, I mean, let's be honest, he's probably the most consistent perimeter shooter.
Yeah, and whatever game it was where I came on here and I ripped him, never thought I'd say
Elon
that our best offense is him.
I don't remember. There were so many that you ripped him. So
the depth for Carolina is, Roy Williams is playing 8 guys, and the 8th guy now is Walker Miller.
Yeah, and Walker held his own the other night. I mean, let's be honest. 2 points, 4 rebounds, and had a block wasn't bad.
And that's how bad this season is.
Exactly.
We're saying that him giving us 2 points and 4 rebounds off the bench, and we're pleased with what he gave us. At this point, you wonder if the fans show up. We knew they'd show up for the Duke game because of, it's Duke, you're going to show up. So you're not going to have the environment in the arena that you're going to need to give you a lift. Virginia understands just how important this stretch of games is for them to get seeding for the ACC tournament because you're trying to get that coveted double bye, and then of course positioning to defend their title in the NCAAs. They got solid guys. Key Clark's improved over the year. Braxton Key is going to hit shots at a timely manner. Diakite is going to be a problem inside. I'm not allowed to pick Carolina. I wouldn't even pick them in this game. I don't see a path to Carolina winning the game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm not. I think the environment will be fine because we thought multiple times throughout the year that fans would eventually give up and just stop going to the game. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think they gave up Tuesday night.
Oh, I don't think the fan base will give up on him. I think they'll show up and continue to support him. But at the same time, I don't think that there's any way that Carolina wins this game just because, like you said, look, Virginia knows they've got to start winning games because they've been looking at the bracketology and seeing that as of right now, they're probably not considered a tournament team. Now, that may have adjusted here as of late, but there was a time where they said 3 teams from the ACC were going to make the tournament, and that was it. Now it feels like they're probably rounding into form, and they'll probably end up making the NCAA tournament. This is a game that if you lose this game to a Carolina team that has lost to the people that they've lost to, Boston College, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, that would be a horrific loss on Virginia's schedule. So I think that Virginia is going to come in motivated, and I think without a doubt, they will win this game. I don't think it's going to be in blowout fashion because I still don't think Virginia is good enough on the offensive end to run away from Carolina. I still think that this team is ultimately the better team this year, and they'll end up getting the job done and unfortunately taking down Carolina.
Yeah, right now, Virginia, according to Joe Luinard, they'd be an 11 seed.
Yeah, barely in, and that's pretty much, I think the win against Notre Dame was pretty much what pushed them into the field.
So they've got a lot to play for. Tony Bennett's one of the few coaches in college basketball that
he's got Roy's number lately, man.
That knows how to coach against Roy Williams, knows how to beat Carolina. While he has that smirk on his face, while he's over there crouched down in the corner complaining about calls, it's going to be a challenge. If Carolina wants to play tough, they have a chance.
You're going to have to play an ugly game where this is going to be one of those games where you got to dominate on the glass, and if you get offensive rebounds, you got to finish second chance points. It's got to happen, or else you're not winning.
That's how you beat Virginia in a normal year.
Yep.
That's how you're going to have to beat them this year because you're not going to make shots. You're probably going to miss foul shots. So you've got to own up defensively, be tough enough, which they've shown this year. They're just not a tough team. And I have no problem saying that they're soft because Roy Williams has called them soft. So that gives me the go-ahead. Anything else we need to talk about Wake Forest, Virginia-wise?
No, I think that's it with that. Now we move on to Beat the Buzzer?
Yeah, then we'll wrap up with the Beat the Buzzer.
Welcome to Beat the Buzzer.
So in this, I was thinking about this the other night because now this question is becoming a reality. And I don't know if the question is as easy to answer given the circumstance of this year. Carolina's going to miss the tournament for the second time under Roy Williams. We don't know what this record is going to look like when it winds up, but they're probably not going to reach 20 wins, and they'll probably finish below 500. The only year they did that, 2009-2010 year, after they won the title in 2009.
And they still finished 3 games over 500 because of the run in the NIT tournament.
So the question is this team worse than the 09-10
yes,
team?
Not even close.
See, I think there's an argument just because that 09-10 team got beaten up, but nowhere near to the level that this team's got beaten up. And they didn't – I think what makes this year as bad is because of the games that they blew. And we've talked about them all year long. If you win those games, you're still probably – I mean, you think about it, you're 4-2 in the games that you've blown, or even 500. You flip the schedule around, you're 13-10 or 14-9. Well, and this year, the way the tournament is going to fall, the bubble, you're still playing for NCAA tournament hopes. That 09-10 team wasn't competitive against Duke. They weren't competitive on the road in certain games. They didn't beat a top 10 team like they did when this team beat Oregon. Well, no, they did beat Michigan State that year. But I think there's a discussion there, and maybe we need to follow it more closely because you've seen some teams that are – or some fans that have said, well, this is the worst team ever. I think there's an argument that 09-10 team was worse. They got hot in a weak NIT field, and I'm not going to sit here and brag about making the NIT final.
Oh, I don't think you should sit here and brag about making the NIT final. I don't think this team will get anywhere close to making the NIT final. This team probably won't even make the NIT if we're being real honest with where they're at right now. Unless there are wins on the schedule that we're not seeing, this team will more than likely be in the CBI. Because I just